Hey everybody, before we get this episode started where we review Toy Story 4, I just wanted to tell you guys to check out our other podcasts on the channel. We have Better Radio, and if you're into esports, Ben and Tamor host the Overwatch League Report. Alright, without further ado, here's our review of Toy Story 4.
Hey yo, what's up? Welcome back to Brian and Dylan Take on the World. I am your co-host Dylan. I am here with my comrade, my good friend, my 4th of July Bri. What's up, Brian?
Hey Dylan, how are you? I'm doing quite well. How are you doing?
Doing good. This is like my final thing on my to-do list before I leave on vacation tomorrow.
Yeah, man.
I've already packed my clothes. I've already got the diaper bag packed. I've got all the beers in my fridge just put in a bag for some reason because I'm too cheap to go buy beer up there.
Hey, that's fair enough.
I'm locked and loaded, and this is my last thing. And one of my favorite things to do is record. So here I am. I'm basically in vacation mode. I'm laid back. I'm in a Hawaiian shirt right now.
That's what I like to hear. And Dylan, even better, our main topic today is going to be Toy Story, but we have a few things to touch on before we get there. What is our first story?
So first up, we are going to be discussing, I guess you can call it news that came out today. It was more of like a little bit of a teaser, but we finally have some actual images from the Witcher series that's going to be on Netflix with Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
And, buddy, does he look good? He looks good as Geralt of Rivia. I'm even more excited for this now. I'm going to pull it up on IMDb. I don't even know if there's like a legit release date for this yet. I feel like if they're putting out teaser posters, it has to be sometime in the next like 6 months. I don't know if that's accurate, but yeah. I'm hoping it is.
Most of the stuff I've seen just references it as upcoming or coming soon. I haven't seen a release date. Just going through, no, not even. It just like the official Twitter just says, the worst monsters are the ones we created. Doesn't say like coming any particular day, but yeah, man, he looks great. They have some really awesome pictures. I don't know if I can put them in the video. Why not? We'll just chance it. What are they gonna do? Strike our video down, Dylan?
Fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah. If they do, I'll just take them out and put it up. Because when we did this for the Avengers, I tried to put clips, and Disney was like, no, blocked worldwide.
Because you're just coming after the small guy.
Right.
Just trying to make it big. Just promote their movie. Just trying to take us down.
Exactly. But yeah, no, he looks amazing, man.
So if you know me, the Witcher series, particularly Witcher 3, is one of my favorite games. I've played it and replayed it probably about 5 times now. I love it that much. I have no less than like 5 games that I've downloaded on my PlayStation that I haven't played yet, that I bought just like in sales and stuff.
Right.
But Witcher 3 is kind of the game that I'll be like, I'll beat one game or like I'll get bored with one game and be like, you know what, let's play Witcher again. And Witcher 3 to me is probably the most complete game on PlayStation 4. Mm-hmm. That has come out specifically for PlayStation 4. So I'm really excited. You know how big of a Henry Cavill fan I am. We talked about it before. He was, to me, by far the best Superman. The only other frontrunner would be maybe Tom Welling from Smallville, but that's kind of like a different entity. But yeah, this looks great. I really can't wait. It's hopefully like everyone said all along that this hopefully is going to fill the void of Game of Thrones, which now is an even bigger void than we had thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. So I'm really looking forward to this. It's like it's gonna pull in. I saw a comment on Reddit today. It's gonna pull in the people that were from Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is like a mix of people that love the fantasy genre that are gonna see it no matter what because it's fantasy, and then you have people that are into it because of like the dramatic aspect, which has brought a lot of people into Game of Thrones that otherwise wouldn't have liked fantasy. And
right,
I can see The Witcher doing it because The Witcher as a whole, it's just a whole badass story, and they're pulling in from the books and the video games. I've never read the books, but obviously the video games are great. So I'm really excited for this. I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, man. I think this certainly has the potential to be the first legitimately good video game adaptation of anything. Granted, like you said, it is based on the books. I know the author was really excited about this series, but I think 99% of the people who know The Witcher know it due to the CD Projekt Red video games. All-time classic games, and
at least on the U.S. side, yeah, for sure.
Right. Yeah. I should probably in Poland. The book series is very. I think
the books over there were like basically like like Harry Potter almost. I don't know. That actually could be a complete lie because I'm not from there. But I do believe it's very big over there. But yeah.
Yeah, and it almost feels like there's kind of an arms race right now to like replace Game of Thrones, where you have, of course, HBO. They have a new spin-off prequel series in the works. There's Amazon, who has a Lord of the Rings kind of prequel type series going on, and now Netflix putting their hat in the ring with the Witcher series. So it'll be interesting to see which one of those fantasy series takes the crown, if you will.
Yeah, that's kind of a great point. I mean, it's gonna be tough because I don't think it's really tough to think there's gonna be another phenomenon like Game of Thrones.
Right.
It's because like I would say after season 3, Game of Thrones is when like everybody started watching it. I think before season 3, you had obviously a lot of the people that were there from the start, which not to toot my own horn, I was, and then you had a lot of people that came in because of word of mouth and they heard how great it was, and then it became like a thing. Like if you didn't watch Game of Thrones, like what were you doing?
Right.
And so yeah, it's obviously any company's biggest dream is going to be to have something as big as Game of Thrones, because other than maybe like Star Wars or the Avengers, I don't think there's any other bigger property on planet Earth right now. So yeah, well, yeah, Lord of the Rings is something I actually kind of completely forgot about because it's been out there for so long. We haven't really got any news about it, but that's another one too that has the chance to fill the void.
Yeah, I know one of the writers from Game of Thrones. His name escapes me at the moment, but he wrote the second episode of this season, which a lot of people, say maybe was the last good episode of Game of Thrones. No shade on there, but I know he went over to Amazon to work on the Lord of the Rings series.
Yeah.
So that could potentially be good for them, and I think they all have their various, strengths. Like, obviously, Lord of the Rings was one of the biggest movie franchises of all time. Those original 3 movies are all-time classic movies, in my opinion. I don't know how you feel about them. I assume you like them too.
I mean, the original Lord of the Rings trilogy. You said it's to me. I think we might have talked about this off the air. I think it's probably the best trilogy out of anything. Like the most complete by far. Because even like the original Star Wars trilogy, like I love, but Lord of the Rings is just like a perfect masterpiece to me.
Right.
So
yeah, there's a reason it won so many Oscars with Return of the King. As well reserved. So obviously Amazon has the advantage with that being popular. Then of course Game of Thrones, HBO has the namesake of Game of Thrones, and then of course The Witcher's already, one, a huge video game, and two, it's most people already have Netflix, so they might be like, oh, that's Superman. Oh, what's this show?
Also, like you brought up too, I completely forgot about. There's like within I think the next year we're gonna get another Game of Thrones series.
Yes,
like,
they're working on it right now.
I don't know if they're that far along, but I have to imagine, because I think the original rumor was that it was going to be fall of 2019. That could be a lie too. I could just be making that up, but
that'd be a quick turnaround. That'd be interesting.
Well, it's definitely not coming out now in the fall of 2019.
Right.
I think that was like the original hope for it. So I gotta imagine it's within the next year. Maybe in the same slot Game of Thrones is in like the springtime.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the other thing that's interesting with Netflix too is that it seems like a lot of the creators on there get kind of like the ability to create however they want to, which is obviously great, both as a filmmaker and as somebody that is viewing the show. So it's great for like everybody all around. This has like, it's tough because like a Lord of the Rings series obviously is going to be pretty great, but the Witcher, I have such high hopes for this now, especially because like I said, I just love Henry Cavill, and I think this is like a perfect role for him.
Right. Yeah, I think, like you said, like where would Stranger Things have gotten made? Maybe only HBO, if not for Netflix. Like, such a strange idea, but such a great show, in my opinion.
Speaking of which, next time we record, we will probably both have watched Stranger Things all the way through.
Maybe that's the next episode.
Maybe it is, Brian. Maybe
this
it is.
This could be what they call a teaser.
Aha.
But as for today, we are moving on from this topic. What are we talking about next?
Oh yeah, so I meant to trying to segue us into this, but I forgot. We are talking a little Batman talk again, which is apparently they're starting the rumors for who are going to be playing the villains are kind of starting to ramp up. This is one that was reported on actual news sites, but Vanessa Kirby, who was in Mission Impossible Fallout, that's really actually the only other movie I know her from. I think she was in The Crown too, which I haven't seen, but I heard it's a great show.
Right.
She's apparently rumored to be playing Catwoman, and I think we actually said this last week too. The villains are apparently Catwoman Penguin, which, obviously it kind of mirrors the Batman Returns, but
Mhm.
yeah, I think done right, we haven't seen those villains since then, other than the Dark Knight Rises, which that wasn't like the actual Catwoman. You know what I mean? Like that was
Right,
just
right, yeah.
so. And then apparently the Penguin is, and this is like a not confirmed rumor at all, but it's a rumor, so I'm going to put it out there.
Mhm.
Andy Serkis as the Penguin, which
All
I
right.
love. That's awesome.
So if that happens, maybe you guys heard it here first, and maybe you share the podcast with your friends because we're breaking news, maybe potentially here.
Correct. Yeah, no, I think that'd be great. I mean, for anyone who's played the Arkham games,
Mm.
they kind of made the Penguin like this really like Cockney kind of like he's fat, but I've seen other versions of him where he's like skinny, but he's like this like Cockney guy that's like not as much as like an actual penguin, but kind of just like a guy that emulates penguins, I guess. If that makes
Right.
any sense at all.
Right.
I think this would be a great fit. I mean, obviously Andy Serkis has all the work with CGI, so if they try to make him look like a ridiculous human, I think it'd be great. I also think his voice would be awesome.
Mm.
He was great, even as himself. He's not Andy Serkis, but acting without CGI in Black Panther. I thought he was great in that film. So
Yeah, I mean, one of the only like disappointing parts was that he died. I wanted
yeah,
him in the future. He's supposed to be the arch rival, arch nemesis of Black Panther, but that's all right. That movie was still pretty
one
fucking
thing
awesome.
one thing I would really like to see them set up, and I think it'd be pretty big, but I think it would have been announced by now if they were considering this role. But I'd really like to see Robin back in Batman movies. I love Robin. I know a lot
Yeah,
of people aren't a fan of Robin. I was always a big fan of Robin. Uh,
yeah. I think a lot of people our age maybe grew up with the Teen Titans, so that certainly helps.
that and like I loved Chris O'Donnell in Batman Forever and Batman and
Mm.
Robin.
Right.
Regardless of what you think of those movies, and I don't know because obviously Batman's significantly older than Robin, so I don't know if they would do it with how young, with how young
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson
Yeah.
is. But I guess we'll see. But I'm excited for what I'm hearing so far.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always gonna be into any kind of Batman movies. Like, I think he is the single most like profitable hero right now. Like, you can usually depend on people showing up for his movies. Um, One thing that I will say is that I do, now that you bring up Robin, I do wish that we got to see what the idea for the Robin in like the Batman versus Superman universe was, because we get
Yeah.
like just a hint to it, and I feel like there's a lot of stuff in that universe that I was like, man, I wish we had gotten more to that.
It
But
seems like
sorry.
they were for sure going to set up the death in the family storyline
Yeah,
because
exactly.
they didn't just show the shot up Robin suit for no reason. And then I think we talked about when we talked about Suicide Squad, they showed like a quick thing when they went over Harley Quinn's rap sheet that she was the one who shot Robin,
Mhm.
or she aided in shooting Robin.
Yeah, and I think one thing I really liked about that was the background, like storytelling of Ben Affleck's Batman. Like, you can just feel like he's just so worn down, and he's seen so much,
Yep.
by
Yep.
that point. Which I know people didn't love Batman versus Superman. I thought that movie was good, and I think his motivations in that movie work when you look at Batman through that lens of like, the downtrodden, man at the end of his rope just trying to save the world.
Yeah, which sucks. Which like it's why like Ben Affleck as Batman is to me my biggest like one ifs because
Mm,
I really liked him as Batman a lot, and I think that he was basically ruined in Justice League with how goofy he was made. But then obviously we're just never going to be able to get a solo Batman movie. This
right.
was supposed to be his solo Batman movie.
Yeah, and especially with the fight scenes in Batman versus Superman, and with like the rumors that this was going to be like an Arkham Asylum adaptation, basically. It was
Yep.
like, oh shit, this is going to be dope. But hey, I'm still excited for this version of it. You've seen the Planet of the Apes movies. You say they're pretty good, obviously. So I'm optimistic.
They're as realistic as you can get with a movie with all CGI apes.
Right.
So like fighting humans. So yeah, I'm like I said, I'm really like the closer we get to this being cast and like started to be shot, and I think it's coming out summer of 2021.
Mm.
So we're about 2 years away from it. Yeah, I mean, obviously we'll keep following it as it comes out, but every time I hear more news about this, I want to talk about it.
Yeah, and I would actually love to record an episode at some point that we can put in, like maybe when we don't have a week where we can actually get filming something going on right now in the movie industry, just talking about the Nolan trilogy of films. I think that'd be a fun episode to kind of do a trip down memory lane, especially because
Yeah.
those are all so good. Like,
Oh, speaking of perfect trilogies, I mean that's up there too.
right, exactly, exactly. So I was gonna say, speaking of perfect trilogies, this is not a trilogy at this point.
Not
This
anymore.
is
It's a
the
saga.
so the Toy Story saga is our topic. Dylan, right off the bat, what are your thoughts of Toy Story 4?
Yeah. So I guess we'll do spoiler free quickly, and then we'll jump
Yes,
into
yeah,
the
that
spoilers.
sounds good to me.
It was great. I loved it, and I either really hate things or I love things, and this happened to be on the scale that I love things. I give it a 93 out of 100.
Mm.
It was great. Kind of speaking of perfect trilogies, I thought Toy Story 3 would have been fine ending on
Oh yeah,
movie 3.
definitely.
I don't really think that anyone disagrees with that. I kind of look at this movie more as like an epilogue
Mm.
to the actual ending, which was Toy Story 3. It took some. I was a little surprised by the way some things went, which we can kind of get into in the spoilers. I will say there's a lack of one particular character that kind of surprised me a lot. But it was great. The new addition of Forky. Forky was awesome.
Right.
Forky's now probably my favorite character in that universe. He was great. The whole thing, Keanu Reeves' character,
Oh my god, dude, that
uh,
was so funny.
Key and Peele stuffed animals, just everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was really well done. This is probably the funniest Toy Story, I'd say,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of the other ones deal with, some of them are sad, some of them like they're not necessarily as funny. This is definitely funny even for like an adult. There's some like hidden adult humor in this,
Mm-hmm.
which I can also get into in the spoilers. But yeah, I loved it. It was great. It was a movie I didn't think that really was necessary to it had to be made,
Mm-hmm.
and like I still really probably think that it really didn't have to be made because like I said, I thought Toy Story 3 was a perfect ending for that series. But I'm glad it was. Like I said, this is like a great epilogue to the series, and I would be surprised if they continued the Woody and Buzz storyline after this.
Yeah, well, yeah, I would also be surprised. I think the fact that they pulled this off is pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because like you said, the ending of Toy Story 3 would have been the perfect place to be like, all right, that's it. We're saying goodbye to these characters. The original storyline is over. But with that said, they nailed it, man. This was a hilarious movie. Like, literally the definition of fun for the whole family. Like, I think anyone can
Yeah.
enjoy this. And I get what you're saying about a certain character not having as much screen time as you thought, but I think they did a really good job of making a compelling villain. Which at first I was like, oh, this is kind of like the Toy Story 3 villain, but it actually had a lot more to it and kind of made you almost sympathize. It's really a just well written movie through and through, and I think if you like Toy Story at all, you will like this movie.
Kind of shows that Pixar is just like on an unbelievable
Yeah,
like streak. Because even like I didn't see like the Good Dinosaur. I think that was like not like the greatest movie ever, but it
yeah.
was still
I
better than
can
most other animated movies.
I'll say this about the Good Dinosaur. Halfway through, we went with Jenny and some of her younger cousins at the time, and if we had not been with like younger cousins, I would have just left halfway through. That movie was a slog to get through, in
And
my opinion.
I think like the Cars movies aren't that great,
Mm.
especially after the first one. But yeah, like Pixar now is it's just I guess Disney as a whole, but Pixar right now is just like Coco. We've been over before. Coco is one of my all-time favorite Disney
Mhm.
movies. One of my all-time favorite movies. I love Coco. I've seen it probably at least 10, 15 times because my
Right.
daughter watches it. Yeah, this was great. Like you said, it was fun for the whole family. Um, it was good. Well, no, it was great because I just said it was great. It was good. It was great. It
Yeah,
was great.
it's already made $500 million, so that should
I
say,
d-
a lot.
I don't think you'll win the bet of what movie will make the most because I actually think that this ended up underperforming a little bit,
Mhm.
at least a little more than they expected.
Mhm.
But I'm glad I saw it, and I'm glad I went and saw it opening night. It was very
Right.
good.
Right. All right. So, with that,
Yeah,
should we move on to spoilers?
you have to. Yeah, because there's a lot. There's
There's so much I want to
you
talk
can
about
talk
now.
about it, spoilers. Yeah.
So, big
So
warning, everybody.
yeah,
Don't come at us. After this.
3, 2, shut it off. If you're on a motorcycle and you can't reach it, I'm sorry. Just throw your helmet off. Yeah, spoiler time. I was, like I said earlier, I was very surprised by the lack of buzz.
Yeah, I was like Buzz or Jesse. I figured you were gonna say because Jesse was not even like in this movie.
She had maybe 4 lines.
Yeah, it was like, and there was a thing beforehand where it said the actor who played Mr. Potato had passed away, but they used like old lines. And I was like, oh, I wonder how they creatively did that. And then it was like, oh yeah, no, yeah, that makes sense because he
Yeah,
doesn't have any lines to anybody.
I was sitting in the movie theater and like the 3 lines Mr. Potato Head had, I was like, wow, that really sounds like Don Rickles. And it turns out it was Don Rickles.
Yeah, it's just he didn't have any involvement with the plot. None of the main like toys really did. Like I feel like.
No, like you said, Jesse. I think she had maybe like 5 lines, if that. You know, and I get it. And as we saw in the end, like this was more Woody's story than anything else. This was like I guess Toy Story 3 was the ending to like the main storyline, and this was like the ending to Woody's storyline.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah, like the ending was good. I think Tom Hanks said that the ending made him tear up so much, and like I guess I didn't see that. I think the Toy Story 3 ending was much sadder because we thought they were all going to be incinerated, burned to death, and that was going to be their ending.
Yeah.
And they were basically all going to like toy hell. So like that was tough. But yeah, though this was I thought it was a solid ending. Like this was like I said, this was the epilogue to the series, and this is like this is how it all actually ends. You know, it kind of sucked. I was like, the one thing that surprised me, I was saying earlier, I was surprised that Woody was basically like not being played with, because that was obviously just because we saw how much Andy cared for him. I just thought Woody was gonna be the head toy again, but it was great. It made sense.
Yeah.
It made sense for the whole point they were trying to make, because obviously, like, what movie would there be if like Woody was loved and played with all the time?
Yeah, and it would make sense. Like a little girl would be more drawn to like Jesse, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So like on to Forky, which like I guess some of the adult humor is I take that Forky was basically like suicidal like half of this movie.
Especially dark with the ending in Toy Story. I was surprised when he didn't say, "Hey man, I've seen where the trash goes and not that great."
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You don't want to go there.
Forky was great. Tony Hale, Arrested Development, hilarious. He was also in Veep, also hilarious in that.
Yeah.
He was great as Forky. I at first actually thought it was John Mulaney. I couldn't pinpoint the voice, and then I realized it was like it's not as like high pitched to be John Mulaney. And then I was like, holy shit, that's Tony Hale. It was great. Forky was great. I wasn't sure what I was very surprised how big of a role Forky played in this. Like Forky was pretty much in the movie. He was, other than Buzz in the movie. I mean, other than Woody.
Yeah, every scene.
The entire movie.
If it wasn't Woody, it was Forky, or it was both of them.
Yep.
In like every scene.
And all the new characters really worked, which I guess like I'm glad all the new characters were, because the lack of the older characters obviously would have left a void that if the new characters didn't work, I don't think this movie would have been as successful. But like what's his name? Keanu, Duke
Kaboom. Yeah, that's so good.
Waited pretty much 3/4 of the movie to finally meet him, but once we got him, he was great.
Yes.
Like what his backstory too with I forget his kid's name, but it's so funny. Him being in Canada with the French Canadians. Yeah. It was great. It was so I guess like what I say was this was like a great ending for the Woody and Buzz storyline. I guess I would be totally shocked if they end up doing a different movie with different characters, because we've now seen like all the non-main Toy Story characters that are out there, like Duke Kabloom and Ducky and I don't know what the other one's name was, but
Bunny,
yeah, I mean it's cool to see these characters really out in the world too. You know what I mean? Because obviously in like Toy Story 2, Woody got stuck in the toy shop. In Toy Story 3, they were at like the daycare for most of the time. Yeah. So like it's cool to see them out in the world, and like a carnival thing like this made a lot of sense. So also, I don't know if you caught that, Bill Hader was like the carny that worked at the booth stand where Buzz ended up getting tied down. I didn't notice that until I saw the credits, but it was very cool to see them out in the world like this. And kind of like what you mentioned too, the bad guy, the quote unquote bad guy, Gabby. Who it was actually played by Christine Hendricks. What was the one from 3? Lotso?
Yeah, Lotso Huggenbear.
At first, she had a lot of similarities to him. That like Lotso was just like a broken toy that like had a shitty past, and then it turned out like I thought that whole thing, the redemption arc of her, really worked. With the Woody ended up giving his voice box to her because
Mm,
one, Woody, I guess Woody doesn't really need it anymore,
right.
and two, he saw that like not all these toys have been played with. It was very like it was a very deep, sad thing, and
Mm.
when she got tossed away, I was like, God,
Oh,
like
that was
this is
tough.
awful. Like
Yeah.
this is terrible. Like I get these are toys, but good grief. And then the whole thing, her redemption arc of that, and then she helps the girl who's lost, and she
Mm,
probably feels loved and all that. It was just all great. It just showed too, like I get we're talking about animated toys, but it just shows how caring of a toy Woody was. Like the whole thing with him going to the school with Bonnie because
mm,
he didn't want her to have a rough time, and
mm.
basically like Woody's the one holding all these things together because
Yeah.
if Woody wasn't there, this is like she doesn't make Forky, and she's just a sad kid who hates school, which like
Mm.
we've all been there, and like that was
Right,
tough to
right.
watch.
Yeah, no, it really was. I think obviously Bo Peep in this movie was pretty great.
Mhm.
It was nice to see her back after just kind of being not killed off screen, but just dismissed off screen.
I'm glad they gave like in the beginning. I'm glad they showed like what happened to her,
Mm,
rather than like her just not being there anymore.
right. And we got an RC cameo. Is RC one of the toys that Andy gave her? I don't remember if he was in the background there. Certainly wasn't a character in this movie, other than
Sure,
in that beginning.
sure wasn't. No, everything with Bo Peep was great. She was like this rebel out in the world, just basically like this toy Jedi just out there protecting people with her skunk.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Yeah, her and Woody's thing was great. If you want to call it a love story, I guess it's come full circle.
Yeah.
The thing that left me like I wanted to buy, I just wish there was more Buzz because to me, Woody and Buzz's
Is Toy Story.
friendship is Toy Story.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
And it didn't ruin the movie for me,
Mm,
not by a long shot because I gave it a 93 out of 100. But
mm.
I definitely I wish for more Buzz, which kind of like it sucks for like Tim Allen
I
because
know, right?
we're obviously heavily promoting him for this movie with all the interviews of him and Tom Hanks,
Mm,
and for him to maybe have like I don't know, maybe a combined like 15 minutes of screen time, if that,
mm.
kind of sucks. But I mean, Woody and Forky's adventure was great. I don't know where you put this. We actually probably should talk about this in spoiler free section, but
Mm.
I actually think I might put this movie ahead of 2
Okay.
in my rankings. And
Behind
for me,
three.
yeah, for me it goes 1, 3, probably this and 2. I was not as big of a fan as 2 as most other people are.
Yeah, I'm surprised. That's like the one that has like a 99 out of 100 or like 100 out of 100 on Rotten Tomatoes, right?
Yep.
That's
I think
that's crazy to me.
I think they're all like pretty close to 100.
Right, right.
So I guess like saying the worst Toy Story is kind of
Mm.
like it's not saying much because they're all
No, Toy
within.
Story 2 is awesome.
I think they're all within 5 points of 100% of Rotten Tomatoes, which
Yeah.
is insane. Um, I think this was just a lot more fun. It was funnier.
Mm.
Toy Story 2 was pretty sad with the whole thing with Jesse and all that, and that song got me tearing up as like this like chubby 9-year-old.
Right.
So like no, I like this a lot. I didn't like it as much as Toy Story 3 and 1. Definitely not 1. But I'm glad. Like I said, I'm glad they made this. I liked it a lot. I'm kind of like it was also like a closure for like us fans who've had it since we were kids. It's kind of
Right.
like we're old and like we're like getting just like fat and gross and old and having kids and getting married and like our life is it's not what it used to be and we're
Right.
kind of moving on just like Woody is. Woody's now like this nomad out in the world. I'd like to see maybe like a short, like maybe if they did like a Disney short of Woody just out in the world. That'd be cool with that. But
Mhm.
definitely not another movie. If they're gonna do another Toy Story movie, it has to be with different characters.
Yeah. I think my ratings are probably the same. I mean, Toy Story 1's untouchable. Just it's hard. It's like hard to rate because obviously you see it when you're a kid and you're like, I love this movie. This is the
Yep.
best shit ever. And I also think like the music is so amazing in that movie. Like You Got a Friend in Me is a classic, and just the storyline of that. And then Toy Story 3 was just really amazing. And I think we both would have been seniors. Were you a senior in high school when
I
Toy
think
Story
so.
3 came out as well? Yeah, I was too. So I was like, yeah, like I feel this. Like same age as Andy here,
Yeah.
you know. And then this one was just really fun and funny, and it had a lot of heart. What they did with Gabby, right? That was her name.
Gabby Gabby.
Um,
Yep.
I thought was awesome because yeah, at the end you don't hate Gabby. You just
Oh.
feel sorry for her, and then you feel happy that she found a kid and she gets to have that experience, you know.
How can we forget the dolls?
Oh,
The
oh my God.
those things were terrifying. How can we forget those?
Yeah. Well, maybe we just tried to block them out of our
It was
minds.
like so funny, but at the same time, it was like kind of scary.
Oh yeah.
It was great. Like it's especially I didn't think the movie dragged at all, but particularly everything inside the antique shop was great.
Mm.
Especially with Duke Bloom going off, and when he's about to ride off, he remembers like
Oh my God.
I forget the kid's name, but it's so
Luis,
funny.
maybe.
It's a very French Canadian.
Mm.
We'll just call him Pierre. That's not what it is, but we'll say it's Pierre.
Right.
And like right as he takes off, he like remembers Pierre, and he like
Oh
skids
my
out of
God.
control. It's just so
It's
funny.
like PTSD. It's so
And,
bad.
and then everything with Key and Peele's dolls talking about attacking the old lady.
Mm-hmm.
It was laugh out loud funny. There were several times in this I laughed out loud, which
Mm-hmm.
like not all animated Disney movies can make me do.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was great. And thank God. Like I'm glad it was only an hour and 40 minutes long.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah, the one thing I was kind of like a little confused about, where they kind of regress Buzz's character a little bit, because in Toy Story 3, it's like, yeah, he's with it, he knows like he's a toy, all that stuff, but then like in this, like when what he's talking about at conscious, he still like doesn't really get like what he's talking about, and like uses his voice. That seems like something that would have fit better like in Toy Story 2, you know.
That was another great thing though. That was
It
pretty
was
good.
funny. It was really
Like,
funny. It just
his
didn't
inner
make a lot of sense.
his it was just like it was just kind of like a go with it type thing. Like his inner voice was actually like telling him solid things to do. Like he would hit like it would say something like oh like look up to the stars or whatever it said. And, like he looked up and like it was Woody jumping over from the
Oh my
canopy
God, that
thing.
was so funny. That and like at the end when he's trying to decide if he should go with Woody, and it's like just saying like go back. He like tries 10 times, and all of them are
Yeah,
like, go back.
yeah, yeah.
Oh man. Like I said earlier, I wish Jessie had more to do. I really like Jessie's character. And they didn't give her anything. She had the one thing with the nail, in the wheel, which was cool, and then she kind of orchestrated the stalling of the RV and then bringing it back to the carousel.
Yep.
It paid off on that little like joke about getting dad arrested. That was fun. Oh, I wish there was more Combat Carl. I feel like Combat Carl has a lot of
Or
like, potential, and they just
yeah,
don't ever use him.
Carl Weathers. First off, great to hear his voice
Mm-hmm.
again. But yeah, that poor third comeback Carl that just never got his high five.
Oh, and they
Never
didn't
did.
pay that off either. I figured he
No,
was gonna
he just
come back and like get a high five, but no.
he didn't. He never. Maybe he never does. That's tough.
That's you hate to see it.
That's probably the saddest part of the movie.
Right. But I did like the idea of like there are these forgotten toys, and they go to the playground because kids go to the playground and just play with the toys there.
And I love they assemble and like they're just like, oh, there's rumors of like a birthday party over on like
Right.
Fifth Street. It's like, oh, I'm getting played with today.
Oh
Yeah,
my God, it's so good.
it's good. It's smart. It's like kind of smart writing too. It's
Mm.
like if those toys were alive, they care about getting played with. It makes sense. It's funny. It was a nice addition to like this whole series as a whole. Like to be out in the outside world and seeing how all these toys act.
Mm. Yeah, so I guess this is kind of the end of an era in a sense because they said they're not going to be doing sequels very much anymore.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, maybe we'll see a live action Toy Story soon. Who
Oh,
knows?
please, God, no. He just put the character models over shots of like real life.
Don't get me wrong. I'm very much looking forward to Lion King, but it pretty much seems like Lion King is basically maybe almost a shot-for-shot remake with just like all CGI animals now.
And
So
I
basically,
feel like CGI backgrounds too. I feel like it's just animated.
it's basically just like it's like a high-tech animated Lion King.
Mm. And yeah, we're gonna
But
see
hey,
that obviously, and
oh,
we'll like it. But
like I said, I think it's gonna break $2 billion at the box office. So
yeah, man. So I guess is there anything else you want to touch on about the movie?
no, that's it for me. It was great. Go see it. It's
Oh,
good.
yeah, go see it
Well,
if
if
you
you're
haven't
listening
seen it
still,
yet.
you've already seen it. So
Well, yeah, maybe that one person on the motorcycle was like, I can't throw my helmet.
he
This
now
can't
knows
suck.
what happens in the movie. So like, still go see it. I guess, guy on the motorcycle.
It's worth it. We're sorry that this happened, but safety first. We get it.
He's not going to hear it because he hasn't seen the movie and he signed up. But I guess the one thing I have left to say is shout out Brian Wong.
We gotta always remember to shout out Brian Wong. Very important part of the show, of course. Very important listener, and but we care about all our listeners. So if you guys are checking this out, Thank you so much, and please share it with your friends. Yeah, that's all I have for
all I
that.
got
Please,
too.
please share it. We need more views so that we can, you know, get
I think for
annoying advertisements.
I think for once it's nice to keep it under an hour.
I think so too, and I think for this, where it's just like there's not like a particularly deep conversation to have, but at the same time, it's like it's just such a pleasant movie. It's just such a fun time that I really am glad that we decided to do an episode for it.
Same, and it fills empty radio space,
Right? Yeah.
which
No.
is the other
Exactly.
the important part too. No, yeah. Thanks. Like I said, maybe I think next week we've kind of locked in our episode, Stranger Things.
Oh man, I'm so excited, dude. Holy shit.
So yeah, awesome. I'm gonna be on vacation this week, but I think I'm gonna try to watch Stranger Things when it releases, at least one episode. So I hope to be caught up by the time we record. Well,
Sounds good.
I'll have to be. So
Yeah. Well, you have an awesome time on your vacation, and then maybe the episode after Stranger Things, we can coordinate a Spider-Man Homecoming if it doesn't feel too late.
ooh, no, yeah. Next episode has to be Spider-Man. Maybe we can do Spider-Man and Stranger Things.
Yeah, or maybe 2 episodes. Who
Maybe.
knows? We'll see. Dylan, have an awesome time on vacation. You deserve it, man.
Thank you. I will miss your sweet voice. I might just have to put on old podcasts just to
Yeah.
get me through the week.
Well, I'm sure if people are watching this channel, they're like, "What are you talking about?" Brian's always fucking talking about some shit on this channel, so you don't have to look far. There's plenty going on, guys. Make sure that you subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Let us know which Toy Story movie is your favorite Toy Story movie, and do you like the potential casting for the new Batman movie for Brian and
I'm Dylan.
yes, thank you. I set that up really poorly. That's
It's
my
okay. I thought you
mistake.
forgot my name.
No. I know. I was like, it sounded like I should have said it. It's fine. We'll move past it. Next episode, we'll make sure we'll have a better outro where I actually set you up to say your name, unlike this time. But yeah, you guys, you can follow us on Twitter at WG Everything, on Instagram on Wicked Everything. Make sure you check out our Twitch channel where we'll be talking about the Big Brother live feeds a lot this summer at twitch.tv/Wicked Everything. And Dylan, where can they find you online?
DJ Clubberlang. That's D as in Dylan, J as in my middle name J, and then Clubberlang with 2 B's. Clubberlang, like Apollo's frenemy, Clubberlang.
Right.
Well, no. Well, actually, I don't think they were ever friends. Just Clubberlang.
Right, and Dylan has been serving some hot takes on the Celtics lately.
Yeah, NBA Twitter. I'm big woke in NBA Twitter right now. So if you're into that,
Yeah, it's the time right now. We got free agency going. The Celtics, it's been a little rough. Let's.
hey, Kimball,
let's
they
just
got
say
Kimball
that.
Walker though.
I'm excited about that.
Look it up, and they got Ennis Camper. I almost called him Anus, but his name's Ennis. Ennis Cantor.
Oh man, and you guys can follow me on Twitter at @theFakeBMar. That's BMARR. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.
I love you all.